Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us today for a look at real estate with Laura Bramnick. We're going to talk real estate.
Yes, we are.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Sinclair.
It's so good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
TalkRealEstateAZ.com, that's your website.
Yes, it is.
And Laura is an attorney. She specializes in real estate, licensed through the State Bar of Arizona. You are also a real estate agent, licensed through the Arizona Department of Real Estate.
Correct.
You're also a consumer advocate. You work for your clients.
I try to.
Buying, selling, residential, commercial, land transactions.
Correct.
And an attorney and a real estate agent, that's like a twofer.
That's a twofer.
And it can be very important. There are a lot of little areas that can trip people up. And one area, we've talked about it before, disclosures.
Yes.
When someone goes to sell, there is a legal requirement, correct, to disclose what they know about the property?
Yes. And I get calls every week, every other week from people who've bought property within the last 6 months or a year and have discovered something that they think that the seller knew.
And should have disclosed.
And should have disclosed. And what happens many times is they'll talk to neighbors, and the neighbors will say, oh yeah, I remember when they had a roof leak. I remember when they had the termites treated. You know, and all of a sudden now you're gathering your evidence. All of a sudden you said, this is not just a suspicion. There's more evidence that maybe they did know about it.
Are those things that need to be disclosed if there was a roof leak 5 years ago?
Yes, even if it was fixed.
Even if it was fixed?
Yes, absolutely. And so what you know, it doesn't mean you have to fix it, it means you have to disclose it.
Okay.
And that's a big difference. And
yeah.
Even if you're not sure, when in doubt, disclose.
There's a form for this, correct?
Yeah, it's called the SPUDS, which stands for Seller's Property Disclosure Statement.
So you just go through the SPUDS and check off everything and you're good, right?
You know, it's interesting because it was developed by the Arizona Association of Realtors, and I find it to be a very useful tool because there's questions on there that you may not even have remembered that occurred in your property. And the good thing is you need to certainly find out what you can, meaning is there an HOA? How much are the dues?
Right.
A lot of times you may have a property manager, you may not really know those details, but you're required as a seller to find them out. There's other things that that are more obscure. You know, how far is the airport that you would actually have to do that? The buyer, you can just say, I don't know.
Right.
And so
or you can put together a reasonable estimate.
yes.
And state it as such. The part of this is you just have to be honest on this
Yes.
disclosure form.
The buyer has a right to know if there's a sewer connection, if there's a well, or if it's public water, if there's been grading issues, you know, things that can really affect the home.
Right.
When the air conditioner was replaced, especially what repairs the air conditioner have had. You know, in terms of was the compressor replaced, because that's the only way they can anticipate what the future repairs are going to be. The major thing that I see is water damage and mold, by far. Because, you know, mold has a very bad rap these days.
Deservedly so.
Deservedly so, and it has to be remediated in a very specific way. And most people try to remove the mold and patch it up, and that doesn't do it. And many people are sensitive to mold. And you know, we have water in the kitchen, in the bathroom, the roof can leak, the hot water heater can blow up.
Right.
There's so many places that you can have water. And so that's the biggest one I see, but there's other ones as well. It may be that you have a fence over the property line. And now you buy property and your neighbor sues you. And you have no idea, you know, and certainly if the seller may not have known, but if they did know, they have to disclose it.
So as someone is filling out the SPUDS, if they come across something and they say, well, I don't know.
Right.
What do I know?
Right.
Maybe it happened and maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What are they can't just say no. They say, I don't know?
Correct. And when I represent a seller, I like to go through the spuds with them. I would never tell them what to say, but I want to question them. Is the answer no, or is the answer I don't know?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because once they say yes or no definitively, they're going to be held liable for that.
If the answer is I don't know, then it kind of falls over to the buyer
Right.
to do a little bit more detective work.
And if they don't want to, they can cancel.
Yeah.
And I know sellers are afraid of that, but nothing is worse than a lawsuit. Because it's not just that you may have to pay for damages, but now you're talking about if the buyer has to move out, the damages can include hotel or apartment. It will include their attorney's fees. It will include cost of experts, in a trial, because most of this stuff requires some kind of a contractor to fix, and they're gonna have to testify as an expert, or an architect, or a landscaper. I mean, there's so many things or an air conditioning person. And so it's not just the repair. And also, maybe the property would have been appraised for less money had that information been known. And now you have, a loss of potential profit and loss of time from work. I mean, there's so many issues involved, but it's mainly the experts and attorney's fees that can really add up.
So get it right the first time, and this is just something that has to be done with transparency and honesty, even if it does cost a sale.
Yeah, some sellers have never even seen the property.
Right.
But there's certain things they can answer. What's the address? Is there an HOA? Is there a sewer hookup? I mean, those are the things that they really need to find out, even if they don't know. The other thing is that if they don't disclose something that's obvious, or if the broker knows, like if the broker saw water damage, their listing agent, they have a separate duty to disclose. And they can be sued as well.
Oh, so the broker better pay attention as well.
Yeah, correct. And realtors have been sued. Make no mistake about it. And that means their broker is sued as well.
Well, this is why it's, I think, so important to have an attorney who is your real estate agent. You can answer the questions about how to deal with spuds, how to deal with the disclosures in such a way to where you don't end up with a lawsuit down the road. Now, it may sound simple, just answer honestly, but sometimes that's a little bit more difficult than people realize, because you may not always have the answers.
Yeah.
But you need to make sure that you answer the spuds properly and correctly. It's also important to get all the information when you're buying, so that you really do know.
Yeah, ask a lot of questions, and either party, whatever you answer, don't have your realtor pass it on without discussing it with the realtor, or better yet, a lawyer.
Right. Because nobody wants a lawsuit after the fact.
And sometimes you're just innocent. It's not your area of expertise.
Right. Laura Bramnick, TalkRealEstateAZ.com. She's an attorney, she's a real estate agent, she is a consumer advocate. 480-624-2705, 480-624-2705, and you can really help when it comes to residential, commercial, or land transactions.
I hope so.
Thank you, Laura.
Thanks so much.